Hello everyone and welcome to episode 28 of the Skyrim Let's Play series. Last episode, we finished up the cause, went to a Realm of Oblivion, and got a new sword to boot. Now today, we're finally going to do it. We're finally going to move on to a main questline, because I've been saying we're going to do this for a long time, but I keep getting distracted with side quests, like I did Nettlebane, and then I got the Blessing of Mara, and then I did Maroon's Razor, and then I did the Cause. Basically, I did a lot of quests back to back that I did not necessarily need to do. Now today, we're finally going to start a main quest, and you may or may not have just been spoiled of what we're doing, considering you might have just seen what quest I have selected, but we're going to do Dawnguard today. Now, this should have been something you saw coming. I don't know if I mentioned this. I probably mentioned that I wanted to do Dawnguard early. I never said how early, though. I planned on doing it really early, specifically third quest line. Now there's a few reasons for this. First off, it is a long quest line. This is probably going to take me 10 plus episodes to beat, if not even more than that potentially, especially once I get to areas like the Forgotten Vale and the Soul Cairn. Basically, it's gonna be a bit. Second, I just like doing Dawnguard. Dawnguard is probably my favorite quest line in the whole game. And I just, I genuinely love it. Wolf. Oh my god, there's so many things. There we go. And we keep going to Fort Dawnguard. Now, last episode, I got this very beautiful sword. Look at Torment right here. Bonk. I actually really love this sword. I might potentially use it in more Let's Plays in the future. It just looks so good. It's like such a menacing Daedric looking sword, which is just really cool, and I do love it. In between episodes, I also improved Dawnbreaker, by the way. I mentioned I might do that last episode because I noticed it did like 100 damage compared to the 280 of Torment, so I upgraded it a bit. You can see it still does less than Torment, which leads me to believe that Torment has a higher base damage than Daedric actually, by potentially 1 or 2 base damage, which is actually pretty interesting. Oh man. Stuff is happening over here. So I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe now I'm going to be getting random encounters between Daedra and Vigilance, as you can see. There we go.
Don't set
Give me that Daedra heart.
fire, all right?
Yeah, so I'm going to be getting random encounters between those two now that I finished the quest. Man, this is a good way to get Daedra hearts. I think I already have like 7 at home, and now I have another 3. So I'm going to end up having so much if I want to decide to make another set of armor or make just any form of Daedric. Anything. I've been thinking of potentially replacing Dawnbreaker, not necessarily because I think I dislike it. It's more just the fact I don't like the brightness effect that it has on it. Maybe I can find another mod to leave it improved, but then kind of remove the light effect, because it's just too much. I don't think it's as bad on video as it is for me particularly, but for me it's very bright, especially when I'm inside somewhere like a house. It can be rough. Now, fun fact, I was actually going to, I think, because there's supposed to be a guy there, right, where he's like, hey, you want to go to the fort together? I'm joining up too. He obviously isn't there. I think that's because, yeah, okay, so I think what happened is I walked here before doing the cause because I was going to record this. I recorded like 5 minutes of that and walked here, and then I got to about this point and went, wait a second, you know what's a quest I can do? The cause, because I want to get this sword. If you can't really tell, both of my weapons right now are super effective against vampires, which is very nice. This Dawnbreaker has sun damage and does more damage against the undead, and then Torment here does, I think, 40 points of fire damage, 30 points of fire damage, which is pretty good, and then targets on fire take extra damage. So with these two swords combined, my power is immeasurable. But beyond that, there's also the fact that I became a werewolf. Now, you guys probably should have seen this coming. I probably mentioned it when becoming a werewolf, but the main reason why I became a werewolf, and I did the companions first, is because you can see here, resist disease. Your beast blood increases disease resistance by 100%. This is very good, obviously, for the Dawnguard questline. it's good to kind of...
New recruits.
yes, new recruits.
Eastron will decide if you've got what it takes.
It's good to have this disease resistance because you get vampire disease constantly.
The Vigilance and I were finished with each other a long time ago.
You know why.
So who are you?
The Vigilants are under attack everywhere.
I'm here to join the Dawn Guard.
Got a fire in your belly to kill vampires, eh?
Hell yeah, I do.
Good for you. But look around. There's really not much to join yet. I've only just started rebuilding the Order.
What can I do to help?
I need someone out in the field taking the fight to the damn vampires, while we're getting the fort back into shape. Tolan was telling me about some cave the Vigilants were poking around in. Seemed to think it was related to these recent vampire attacks. Tolan, tell him about, what was it? Dim Hollow.
Yes, that's it. Dim Hollow Crypt. Brother Adelwald was sure it held some long-lost vampire artifact of some kind. We didn't listen to him any more than we did Isran. He was at the hall when it was attacked.
That's good enough.
Alright, there we go. We gotta go to Dim Hollow. Now, I don't know if you guys notice, I always notice small things like this when playing because I just can't help myself. But I like how Isran there pronounced Dim Hollow. Like, instead of going Dim Hollow, he went Dim Hollow. And, you know, it's semantic, but it's weird that... It's weird how certain things are emphasized in this game, and actually, it's right next to the Shrine of Maroon's Dagon, which I wonder if that's on purpose. Well, I mean... I don't know. Oh my god, they already respawned. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting them to respawn yet. Alright, well, more Daedra Hearts for me, I guess. Beautiful. Alright, let's go to the cave over here. You know, that bear was a bit far away. That was a bit of an ambitious swing on my part, but we're good, we're good. Now, I will say, you guys will see in a bit, I do have a Serrano Replacer mod, and it's one I've been using for a long time. And I don't usually like major character replacement mods because, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Skyrim Nexus, but if I had to describe the Skyrim Nexus in one word, it would be horny. So I picked probably the least horny option, as usual. I like having character replacers that, like, theoretically could be realistic. Like, you know, Serana's a vampire lady and could be, you know, pretty attractive. You get my point. I think it's below me. I should be able to just scale down the side of this mountain. Yep, there it is. Uh-oh. Long drop. We're all good. Now, I will say, what I might do, because I'm in a serious need of extra perk points and in a serious need of potential levels, because you guys can see, you can't see, but I have no perk points, right? And I kind of need some, like, I need some for heavy armor. There's a few heavy armor perks that I could stand to get. Enchanting, there's some I could stand to get. There's some more one-handed perks I kind of want, like this one. This one would be really good. But I just don't have the perk points. I think what I'll do is I might max out my alchemy, which obviously wouldn't be too bad considering I'm only 11 levels off. Bleed and die. Goodbye, vampire. Man, that is an unflattering angle. Nah, you're just ugly. You just have an ugly face. I see. What was I saying? I don't remember. Man, my memory is way too short to be a YouTuber, to be completely honest. That's why I stopped making Let's Play series. We continue on. Now, you might notice, I'm a little bit busted right now. My character is kind of broken, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, I'm not gonna just nerf myself intentionally for the sake of the game, but like, look at my damage and stuff. Like, I'm doing 283 and 259 on my swords, and most enemies don't even have that much health yet. Like, until I get to like a level 45 and all of the Draugr become like Draugr Deathlords and stuff, I'm gonna be doing way too much damage. So hopefully, you know, hopefully I'll balance out and level out at some point. I mean, I definitely will start leveling out once I get, like, later on, once I get to further quest lines. Obviously, there's ways to keep it interesting. Like, I'm not gonna just keep, just mowing through everything, right? I think, like, for example, the Thieves Guild, you know, I'll try out actually making some sneak stuff. Like, I'll make some gear, sneak related, and actually attempt to do some sneaky things rather than, you know, just mowing through the Thieves Guild questline. Dark Brotherhood, I'll also try something more stealthy along those lines, you know? Stop doing that. You're loud and unfortunate. Alright. Die. I don't really need the 10... Actually, I mean, I was gonna say I don't really need the 10 septims, but I am kind of poor right now. I don't know why I'm poor. Why am I poor? Nothing really down that way. I don't remember what I did. I don't know why I have so little money. It must be alchemy or smithing. Maybe it's because I bought ebony. Could be. I distinctly remember coming out of a few episodes ago with only 50 gold, so I'm working my way back up. It shouldn't be too hard. All I need to do is go to Golden Hill Plantations. It's definitely been a few in-game days. Uh-oh. Yeah, vampires with frost magic are probably going to be the bane of my existence, to be honest. Like, regular vampire magic doesn't matter. Bonk. Alright, we keep going. Loot this urn. Yeah, I'm very excited to start Dawnguard. It's been a while since I've done the Dawnguard DLC, and it's perhaps one of my favorites. If I had to rank the Skyrim DLCs, I mean, obviously there's only 3. Technically, what I'll do is I'll count AE as kind of a DLC in of itself. I would say the best one is Dawnguard, followed by either Dragonborn or AE, and then Hearthfire's last. Now, obviously Hearthfire is decent. It has some stuff that we love, but
vampire. I oath to Stendar.
Something out there you are.
oh, he's dead. Yeah, when you walk too close, he kind of just drops dead. You cannot save him. Run away, vampire. No, I don't know where he went. There he is. What's gonna happen to you? Oh. This game is very funny. An amulet of Stendar. I'll take it, why not? Notes on Dim Hollow Crypt. Now, I could also see Dawnguard being potentially longer than other quest lines because it has a lot of dialogue in it. Like, I'm not just going to skip all the dialogue. And there's quite a bit of dialogue, especially in relation to Serana and in relation to just generally everything. Ow, my hand. You know, it's very impressive that that metal spike manages to go through my Daedric gauntlet. Alright. One has to go in. It's really weird how this whole thing works. Like, obviously there's more lore to be had later, but basically Valerica put Serana here so that Harkon couldn't find her, and I just find it very strange that, like, she was like, okay, how do we lock this up? Oh, I know, let's just make a bunch of braziers that you have to push back and forth into, like, a random sequence. Like, it's not like it's a consistent sequence, it's kind of random. And then the floor actually goes down and not the thing going up. Alright, we're good. Let's open the stone monolith. And wow, it's Serana. Crazy. Talk to the mysterious woman. Hello, mysterious woman. It is I, the Dragonborn.
Who sent you here?
Who were you expecting?
I was expecting someone like me, at least.
Are you a
Vampire.
Twilight line?
Yes.
You love to see it. You love to see it. How are you locked away like this?
That's complicated. And I'm not totally sure if I can trust you.
That is fair.
But if you want to know the whole story, help me get back to my family's home.
All right. Where do you need to go?
My family used to live on an island to the west of Solitude. I would guess they still do. By the way, my name is Serana. Good to meet you.
Hello, Serana. Is that an Elder Scroll?
Yes, it is. And it's mine.
I have one too. Why do you have an Elder Scroll?
It's complicated. I can't really talk about it. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not really going to, get too much out of her in the beginning, but I can, ask, like, tell me about your home.
It's on an island near Solitude. Hopefully we can find a boat to take us there. It's my family home. Not the most welcoming place, but depending on who's around, I'll be safe there.
Why wouldn't you be safe there?
Let's just say that my mother and father had a bit of a falling out. Don't worry, I'm not in any danger or anything like that. It'll just be more unpleasant to run into my father.
How long were you in there?
Good question. Hard to say. I can't really tell. I feel like it was a long time. Who is Skyrim's High King?
That's actually a matter of debate.
Oh, wonderful. A war of succession. Good to know the world didn't get boring while I was gone. Who are the contenders?
The Empire supports Elisif, but there are many in Skyrim loyal to Ulfric.
Empire? What empire?
The Empire from Cyrodiil.
Cyrodiil is the seat of an empire? I must have been gone longer than I thought. Definitely longer than we planned. Please, let's hurry. I need to get home so I can figure out what's happened.
Alright. We shall go now. I'll stop bothering her with questions. But, that is a very interesting thing if you know a little bit about Skyrim lore. Like, if you, if you've stopped even a little bit to kind of learn about the history of just Elder Scrolls in general and Tamriel, there has been an empire in Cyrodiil since, like, the Second Era, which means Serana's been locked in here for well over 1,000 years, I believe, if my math is correct. We go up here. Chest here. Give me that. Is this the way we go up? Which way do we go up? I always get lost in this dungeon. I think it's up here. Yeah, it's definitely up here. Because I believe, right, because there was multiple empires, right? The current empire that we see is what's it called? It's not like it's an empire that was forged by Kaiser Septim, right? Whereas like there was another empire, if I remember correctly, like Riemann Cyrodiil and stuff like that. So it definitely has been a long time since she's been locked up in there. I need to look into it more. But is Serana gonna be hurt by my constant explosions out of my sword? Probably.
Keep your eyes open here.
Alright, well, a large kind of arena, which is interesting.
Done and... Where'd you come from?
Yeah, so I definitely, like... because this is a Let's Play, right? And I want to... Oh, explosions. And I wanted to go out of my way to do as much as possible, right? It's very obvious that I'm kind of overpowered. And the reason why I say that is I don't think I've ever gone through this part of the game, like, just one-shotting literally everything.
Who's there?
Like, sure, base skeletons and vampires, that's fine to one-shot, right? And then, if you look like... I didn't one-shot that Draugr Death Overlord, so that's good at least. But in comparison, like, those skeletons are usually pretty tanky, the ones with, like, the kind of armor. So definitely a bit kind of... How do you say, like...
It's so good to breathe again. This weather is incredible.
It does look pretty good. It is good out today. Rather rare for Skyrim, but oh man, I have literally 0 locations marked nearby. So let's go to the Thalmor Embassy and walk there, and then we can call this episode here. Now, I'm very interested to know, I want you guys to tell me in the comments below, who do you usually side with in Dawnguard? Do you side with the vampires, or do you side with the Dawnguard? Now, as a kid, I always used to side with the vampires. I think it's because, I don't know, vampires were cool, and I was always like, yeah, why not? You know, vampires seem cool. Serana's a vampire, and I always liked Serana, so why not be a vampire as well? And then also there would be the times where I would become a vampire to get into the Soul Cairn and then potentially cure it later. You get my point. There's, you know, there's times when I would side with the vampires a significant amount.
What?
Fair. Goodbye. Right there, I used to side with the vampires quite a bit. Nowadays, I would say in the last like 3 years or so, I've been siding with the Dawnguard for a few reasons. First off, the Dawnguard are definitely more of the good guys. Like, I'm sure that there's good vampires out there, right? And indiscriminately killing all vampires is not the way to go. But the vast majority of vampires, and specifically the ones that the Dawnguard are hunting down, are the ones that terrorize humans. So definitely, they're more the side of good. On top of that, being a vampire in Skyrim, like, literally blows. There is nothing worse than being a vampire in Skyrim. I used to think, you know, why not? It's cool, but, like, no. I don't know how much you guys know about it, but in Skyrim, being a vampire, there's no, like, upside at all as far as I know. Like, you get the vampire spells, right? But you also get a weakness to fire. When the sun's out, your health doesn't regenerate, and neither does your stamina or magicka. And just generally, it's bad. It's bad. Like, the vampire lord form isn't even that good. You need to feed you need to feed constantly. It's kind of just wild, right? And I don't really like it. I for some reason, I think just as a kid, as I never realized, like, the downsides. I never realized that my stamina wouldn't regenerate and stuff. But nowadays, it's very easy to see that it is not a good play. Now, being a werewolf, on the other hand, like, if we're talking about forms, right? Obviously, there's werewolf and then there's vampires. Those are, like, the two main kind of, what's the way to say it? I like beast transformations, but you get what I'm saying, right? And werewolf, unlike vampire, just doesn't have any downsides. Like, I think Bethesda just didn't think about it, right? Because werewolves in the game literally don't have a downside. There is no downside to being a werewolf because you get 100% disease resist, which is just really good. You don't need to transform into a werewolf. Like, literally, you guys have seen, I haven't transformed into a werewolf a single time in the last 17 episodes or however long it's been. Just generally, there's no downside. Like, if it was like you randomly transformed into a werewolf sometimes and then went on killing sprees, sure, that would suck. But you just don't. Like, there's no downside. And I've had many of arguments with my friend about this in the past. He always cures being a werewolf, and I always just ask why, because there is just no point. It's like, why would you go out of your way to cure being a werewolf when it's only a good thing?
What?
Like, I think that the downside of being a werewolf, like, in-game and thematically, is the fact that you can't go to Sovngarde. You need to hunt with Hercene in the afterlife. But I think our character, that's the last thing our character needs to worry about, because I'm pretty sure we pledge ourselves to at least 10 Daedric princes throughout the quest lines and throughout quests, and they're going to be fighting over us once we die. Like, in the main quest line even, we pledge ourselves to Nocturnal, which I'm pretty sure Nocturnal holds you in the afterlife after you die. So there's Nocturnal, there's Boethia. You know, you get the gist. Many a people who would like to take our souls. Oh, what the heck is... like fog? I don't know.
Hey, so before we go in there...
Are you alright? What's up?
I think so. And thanks for asking. I wanted to thank you for getting me this far, but after we get in there, I'm going to go my own way for a while. I think. I know your friends would probably want to kill everything in here. I'm hoping you can show some more control than that. Once we're inside, just keep quiet for a bit. Let me take the lead.
Alright. I will say, usually, I would say that I probably don't, like, I probably wouldn't be able to kill everything in here. But this save especially, I feel like I could probably 1v30 the vampires in here. I mean, like, Harkon would probably be the hardest, but, like, everyone else is just kind of meh. Hey, Harkon.
My lord, everyone! Serana has returned!
I can't believe it.
That is the longest E voice line I've ever heard in my life.
My long-lost daughter returns at last. I trust you have my Elder Scroll.
After all these years, that's the first thing you ask me? Yes, I have the scroll.
Of course.
She has the scroll.
To see you, my daughter.
I just want to kick all of their stuff off of here, because I think it's funny.
Ah, if only your traitor mother were here. I would let her watch this reunion before putting her head on a spike. Now tell me, who is this stranger you have brought into our...
Oh, don't worry about me.
A savior?
Savior, the one who freed me.
For my
Oh,
daughter's
hi.
safe return, you have my gratitude. Tell me, what is your name?
My name is Aethoriorio Clovius. Who are you?
I am Harkon, Lord of this court. By now, my daughter would have told you what we are.
It's kind of hard to miss. You're a reclusive cannibal cult.
Not quite. Though I can see how an outsider might arrive at that conclusion. No, we are vampires, among the oldest and most powerful in Skyrim. For centuries we lived here, far from the cares of the world. All that ended when my wife betrayed me and stole away that which I valued most.
What happens now?
You have done me a great service, and now you must be rewarded. There is but one gift I can give that is equal in value to the Elder Scroll and my daughter. I offer you my blood. Take it and you will walk as a lion among sheep. Men will tremble at your approach and you will never fear death again.
I'm a werewolf. What will happen if I accept your gift?
Yes, I can smell it on you. The power of my blood will purge that filth and make you whole again.
And if I want to remain a werewolf?
I will banish you from this castle. I will spare your life this once, but after that, you are prey. Perhaps you still need convincing. Behold the power!
This really doesn't do a good job of convincing you.
This is the power that I offer. Now, make your choice.
You look ugly as hell. I don't want to become a vampire. I refuse your gift.
So be it. You are prey, like all mortals. I banish you.
Alright, bye. Well, that's that. Next episode, we'll go back to Fort Dawnguard and, you know, speak to Isran with what happened. But otherwise, that is the end of this episode. It's really funny that they offer you that choice of becoming a vampire, and they make it out to be a really good choice, right? Like, he says there, he's like, You know, it's good. It'll purge the werewolf filth from you, and it's just like, why would you? It's literally inferior to being a werewolf in every way, and inferior to just being a human. I don't know. But that's it for today. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, hit the sub button. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode. Adios.